beautiful people, so welcome once again to my channel. So on today's tutorial, we're going to be talking about how to make a palazzo pant with wide legs, with pockets, and also it has a spaghetti top. So please guys, before we get into this tutorial, subscribe to my channel and like this video, and also please share. Thank you and God bless you. So the things you'll be needing: you need your 3 yards of bodice, lining, zipper, roller, paper pattern, chalk, scissors, and your loop tunnel. So these are the basic things you need, and also you need your measuring tape. So let's get deep into this tutorial. So the first thing first is for us to cut the trouser. So the top, or the spaghetti top, is going to come out second. So the first thing is to cut your basic trouser. So I've already rolled out my lines, as you can see, my vertical lines. So I'm going to just give more details. So I removed 2 inches from it. So from my waist to my hip is 8 inches. From my waist to my crotch line I use 11. From my waist to my thigh line, then from the crotch line I went in by 3 inches. Then the full length of this is 42. So first thing first to do is take my hip measurement. So the hip measurement is 40 divided by 4 will give me 10. So I'll mark the 10 and I'll connect it. I also do the same thing, to the waist part. I'm trying to get the mark at the exact point of the waist. Then I'll connect it to the crotch line. So you roll the line and connect straight. So after connecting, the next thing for us to do now is to get our waist measurements. So the waist measurements divided by 4. So as I'm doing in the video, you can use your measuring tape to get this. You divide your waist by 4. So I'll mark it and place my waistline on it. Then I'll add 1 inch sewing allowance. So I'll be connecting this line to the bust, to the hip point there. So you take your French curve, or you can use your ruler, mark it straight down and connect to the hip line. So after doing that, now is for us to add 2 inches extension to the crotch point. So you are going to, at that crotch line, extend it by 2 inches, which is what I did. So for me to create that crotch curve, so I'll be extending it. Please use your French curve for this. So after doing that, the next thing is to get the midpoint of this crotch extension with this, so we can get our middle line. So here I got 12 divided by 2, which will give me 12, which will give me 6, So I'll mark that line and connect it straight down to the end, from top to bottom. Connect this line straight from up to down. So the next thing now is to get your round thigh measurements. So measure round the highest point of your thigh, measure it, then you divide that figure into 2. So in my case, my round thigh is 25 divided into 2 is 12.5. So that 12.5, I'll divide it also into 2, which will give me 6.25. So I'll place 6.25 on the right hand side, then 6.25 on the left hand side. Then I'll connect this from the hip line to the thigh line. Do the same at the crotch line to the thigh line. So here I'm just marking it. Then I'll roll it to the points of the 6.2 figure. So you just mark it straight to where the point is. So the same thing you do to your round nail. Take the measurement of your round nail, divide it by 2. The figure you get, also divide it by 2. Then you connect it straight down to your end, to the end of the trouser. So now is for us to get the zipper. So for the zip, the zip will be at the front. So I'll be extending it by 2 inches allowance. So I'll add 2 inches allowance and connect it to the crotch points, as you can see in the video. So I'll roll it out. So after rolling it out, I'm going to label it as zipper. So the next thing to do is, so next at that waist part, I'll be coming down by 1 inches, then connect it as you can see. So I'll connect it to that point. So next is for us now to get the pocket parts, because this trouser is going to have a pocket. So at the pocket part, I'll be going inwards by 2 inches, which is what I'll cut out at the waistline. Then I'll take a length of 7 inches. So the pocket will have a depth of 7 inches and a width of 2 inches. I'll be taking off. So I'll connect this in a slanty way, not straight. It's going to be slanted. Connect this, but I won't cut this out yet, so I'm going to just label it pockets. So now I'm going to cut my front parts out. So after cutting the front parts, this is how it's going to look. So the next thing for us now is to do the slash method. So from that point, I'll go inwards by 3 inches. I'll connect it straight from the hip point down to the hand line. That's the full length. So I marked 3 inches inwards, then I connected it with a dot, then roll it out, then mark it straight to the end line. So from that point, I'll still also go inwards by 3 inches. I'm not going to be using the middle line, so I'm going to be taking the normal 3 inches. I'm taking then connect it straight down to the hip line. I'll be stopping at the hip line. I'll slash and stop at the hip line. Then I'll connect it straight down to the hip. So I'm going to label this as slash so I don't make a mistake, or I remember I'm supposed to slash it. So now I'll be using the front part to cut the back part. So this is the back. I'll place the front on top of the back as shown in the video. So there is not much difference between the front and the back. The major difference is the back, the upper part, which is the waist part, is higher than the front part because of the butt. I remember I removed 1 inches from the front part, so I'm going to replace it back by adding 2 inches at the front part of the trouser. So at the zipper part, it's still, remember the front has 2 inches, so it's already sitting well on its own. So at the crotch points, I'm going to be extending that part by 2 inches. So you rule a line from that 2 inches up, you went upward and connect it to the waist point. Then I'll extend the crotch points by 2 inches. I'll take it straight down to the end line. I'll measure that 2 inches straight to the end line. So I'll do the same thing, mark it and roll straight down. So I've done doing that, so I've cut it out. Then I did the same thing I did at the front, the slash and spread method. So I'm going to be cutting this out the same way. So after cutting it out, this is how it's going to look. So I'm going to slash it on the fabric. So after spreading it on the fabric, this is how it's going to look. So I'm going to cut this. So the next thing now is for me to cut the pocket parts. So remember I went in by 2 inches and I went downwards by 7 inches. So for the pocket, I'll go in by 6 inches. Then the depth measurement is 12 inches, and I'll just create a curve. Then I'll be cutting 2 pieces of this because the pocket has 2 sides. So now it's for us to cut the band. So this is the band. I'll be using 5 inches width. Then the length is 46. That's the round measurement for the waist, not my waist. The round measurement of the trouser is 46. So this is the round measurement. I'm just making sure that it's correct. So we're done with that. So now it's for us to cut the top. So remember, the top is the spaghetti top. So you're just going to drafting your basic bodies. But if you don't know how to draft the basic bodies, I'll leave a link below this video. Go back and watch that video. So you draft your normal basic bodies. So now I'm just going to label this as my shoulder line. Then from that shoulder line, I'll be taking my vertical lines. So from the shoulder to the bust point is 10 inches. from the shoulder to the waistline is 16 inches. Then remember, it's a crop top, so it's not that long. So if you want yours to be long, fine, extend it more. But mine is a crop top, so I'll be stopping at 18 inches. I added 1 inch sewing allowance, so I'll stop at the 18 inches. Then I'll roll out my lines. Then after rolling the lines, I'm going to label this out. So I'll roll it out and label it. So I'm done labeling it. Next is to get my shoulder measurement. So my shoulder is 14 divided by 2 will give me 7.7 inches. We added half an inch allowance. Then I took my neck width of 3.5. Then I came down by 3 inches and I used my free hand to connect the neck. I use a French curl for this. Then next is for us to get the armhole line. So I'm going to rule out this neck width mark that I made. So I'll roll it out. Then from there I'll take my shoulder slant. So I'll go down by 1 inches. Then I'll connect it to the neckline. So that is the shoulder slant. Next is to take the armhole. So the armhole for this is 8. Then I'll mark my 8 and roll out the line. Then I'll take the midpoint of this 8, which is 4. So I'll mark the 4. I'll go in by half an inch and I'll connect. Please use your roller, don't use freehand like I did. So at the shoulder line, I'll come down by 7 inches because I'm trying to create a new neckline. Remember, this is a spaghetti top. So from the shoulder line, come down by 7 inches. Then you mark it. So now we're going to create a new neckline. So at this point, your normal shoulder line is 8 or 6 or whatever. Remove 1.5 from it. That will give you a perfect neckline. The new neckline, this works perfectly. Whatever number you get as your shoulder measurement, remove 1.5 inches from it. In my case is 6 after removing 1.5 inches, so I got 6. So I'm going to mark 6 and then create a new neckline. So I'm going to connect this line to the armhole. So this will be my new neckline as shown in the video. So this is how you're going to create it, and this is how you mark it. So this is the new neckline. So next is to take our bust measurements. So my bust is 9. So I'm going to add 1 inches after dividing my bust by 4. I added 1 inch sewing allowance. The material is a bit stretchy, so it doesn't need too much allowance. So if you want yours to be like shaped, you can get your under bust measurements. But mine, I don't want it to be shaped, so I'm going to mark it straight because it's a free top, so it's going to be straight. So if you want yours to be shapy, then you take your under bust, then take your normal hip line. So this is going to be. Then I'm going to cut it. So after cutting, I'll place it on the fabric and then do the same. So I'll be cutting the front and the back together. So if you're adding the zipper to this, then fine, add your zipper allowance. But mine won't be having a zipper allowance because it's a free spaghetti top. So I've cut 2 parts of this, which is the front part and the back part. And I've also cut the strap for this. So I cut 2 of this, the front parts and also the back parts. Then I'll be cutting the lining, which will be 4. So that means 2 for the front and 2 for the back, which will make it 4. The lining plus the Duchess material. I'm going to be using the lining to like cover the rough edges. So this is the end of this cutting part. So the next part is going to be the sewing parts. So I'm going to leave a link of this video for the sewing parts later on, but this is the cutting part. So thank you for watching to the end of this video. Please subscribe to my channel, please guys. God bless you as you subscribe.